Three Black Guys with a Mic, episode 11.
First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of shit.
Sometimes my mama said, you know, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one? Okay.
Are you drinking, Maynard?
I don't know.
Are you drinking?
I don't even understand how you could even put Common and Bob Marley and Marvin Gaye. And even Marvin Gaye
I'm
the
saying
same.
Lamont, who's on your iPhone, iPad? Who's in your playlist right now that ain't saying this?
Maynard, I know you're a little bit on the right. And Lamont, I know you got that country club lifestyle. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic. Yo, if you're listening to this podcast on iTunes right now, we want you to leave us a review. If you're listening to this podcast on Google Play, leave us a review. If you're checking us out on YouTube or SoundCloud, leave us a review. Let us know how we doing, if we whack or if we dope. And if you think we dope, subscribe to this podcast for new episodes every single Tuesday. Plus, get in on the conversation and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/3blackguysandamic. And now let's start the show. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 11 of Three Black Guys with a Mic. It's Spud, Maynard, Lamont. We in this piece. It's going down. Yes, baby. Let's get this podcast started. Let's first start with Donald Trump banning Muslims, man, and banning Muslims from coming into the country. Lamont, I know you mad. You can't get out of JFK. Are you a LaGuardia guy?
Mainly LaGuardia, but you know, on those West Coast flights, you got to go to JFK. So luckily, I don't go to the West Coast. Yeah.
All right, so, let me just ask both of you guys, real quick. Let me start with you, Lamont. Are you for the ban? Or are you against the ban? Are you silently saying, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up? Are you silently saying, lock them up?
But see, first of all, let's just be careful with this conversation because it's not a Muslim ban. He said
that's a bullshit.
He's not banning Muslims. He's just giving preferential treatment to the Christians. Ain't that what he said? Right? Your new president, Maynard, but we'll get to that in a minute. But no, seriously though, is that honestly looking at the sheer numbers of the people who have been quote unquote banned or detained, it's not really a high number if you really break it down from a national perspective. I think it's more of a fear thing that I think is what's going on because I just heard of someone who actually has to travel for a major company who and they have their green card, but they like, listen, if I leave, can I come back? So I think that's where a lot of the uneasiness, this reckless, do what you want to do in the middle of the night kind of thing that Donald Trump did with this particular ban. And again, it's not a Muslim ban. We're just going to show a little extra love to you Christians out there. So it's bad.
Come on, man. You almost sounding like Maynard right now, man. It's
How
a
you gonna
Muslim
put that on my
ban.
name? How you gonna put that on me?
Come on, man. You almost sounding like you sounding like Maynard right now. This man, and I understand he was trying to talk about. Hold on, he trying to talk about. Listen. Oh, President Obama, had all of these different countries on watch. And so now they are following suit from what President Obama was doing and protecting these countries. Now, and they also talked about 9/11 in the executive order, which none of these countries have anything to do with 9/11, and none of the terrorists came from there. And none of these countries had any terrorism or any threat to America since 1975. I don't even know why this, is on watch. But You gotta say, listen, man, you going about this the wrong way. It silently sounds like you want to say lock them up, Lamont. It's okay if you want to say that.
Listen. I didn't say that. But we still gotta let these boys do their job. The problem is, again, it's not what you do, but it's how you do it. Now, I read via the Washington Post that what President Obama did in 2011 was not the same of what, the Donald has done with, again, this secret, we're going to sign this executive order in the middle of the night. Because you noticed he did it on a Friday after happy hour already started. If you're in D.C. and it's 3:30, we go into the happy hour at 4 o'clock. So, just everything that he does is what Donald Trump does. He tries to rub people the wrong way. So, again, I ain't saying lock him up because what he did was wrong. But we got to tighten this up a little bit, man. I don't know how we do it, but these borders are a little loose. They are a little loose, and we got to get them tightened up.
Whoa, I'm really curious. I need to see your ballot, homie. I mean, what is the situation? I feel like you might have messed around.
What you mean you didn't see my ballot? What ballot you talking about?
I'm talking about how'd you vote, my dude. You saying, but let me get serious about this. Yo, this is not new stuff. You know that we rounded up the Japanese. You know that we did the same thing to other populations before this. And you know that George W. Bush, when he was president, found ways to demonstrate ways to fear people with the, today is a yellow day and tomorrow is going to be orange and we're going to have red alert. And this idea that he's going to ban Muslims. It's a Muslim ban. I don't know what Lamonte is over here equivalent about on some BS, but it's a Muslim ban. He said that he was going to ban the Muslims when he was running for president. He said he was going to ban the Muslims multiple times when he was running for president. And now he didn't say, let's keep it 100. Over in Ireland, I know it's calmed down, but for a whole bunch of years, they were having bombings in Ireland and bringing that to Boston on a regular basis, on a daily. He ain't said we're going to stop Irish people from coming in. He ain't say nothing about stopping French people from coming to America. He went and found these places where people who are either African because they're from the continent of Africa, or they're Muslim because they're from Muslim nations, and said, y'all can't come. He said, you Muslim people can't come. You brown, you sub-Saharan, and you can't come. This is a fear tactic that he's using to make certain that he galvanizes his base. This is some old super ultra white right-wing conservative racism, and we got to call it out. And I got it.
I'm just curious about the base at this point. And I know you supported Donald Trump, Maynard. So I know you have to be a little. I know you have to be a little concerned at this point, because I'm sure that the supporters have to be like, okay, it looked all good when you were, actually out there on the campaign trail, and, you were saying you were going to do this, and you were going to build the wall, and you were going to, fight ISIS, because he didn't say he was banning Muslims from America. He was saying he was going to fight ISIS. Now, I understand you got to put systems into place. My problem is you're doing things without, Congress and the support of the political process. It's kind of like Lamont said, you go to happy hour on a Friday, y'all have a couple extra, brewskis, and y'all like, you know what? Let's just ban them. It don't matter. Let's just ban them. And then on the weekend, everybody's being
People
banned.
didn't know their status. One thing about being in communications, even though whether it's being in radio, playing music, or having discussions about politics, etc., or being in TV, or even just, pushing records, you got to communicate to the end users, to the people who things are going to be affected by, so they know how to conduct themselves. Somebody was on a plane from one of these countries, and got on the plane, hours before he decided to make this ban, and they ain't know that when they got off the plane, they basically were going to be told, you can't come. Nobody stopped them before they got on, because, I could have stayed my tail parts over in whatever country that, you came from, if you were going to wind up being locked in the airport. You know what? This is a straight, as Lamont likes to talk about, get somebody getting a W for certain things that they've done. This is a straight L. This is an L for Don Trump and his administration. This is an L for America. It makes us look stupid in the eyes of the world. England has some 1+ million people who have signed petitions and sent on the parliament and the prime minister, Theresa May, to say, yo, Donald Trump should not be allowed to come into England. Now, England is the white people factory. If they ain't letting their own model come back.
Maynard, Maynard. Listen, man. Let's bring some calm as you introduced us to a new place, a white people factory. I had no idea like that. Is it a certain kind of white people that they factor out? But
it's the left Twix and the right Twix. It's two different factories.
Yes, I'm confused. Is there like a black people factory, an Indian people factory? But listen, here's the deal, man. If you really break it all down, and I know this hurts right now and everybody's, protesting the whole shebang, But I think we got to understand also what an executive order is, okay? It's not law, okay? Yeah, we got to go through these little bumps and bruises, but like you said, Donald is flexing right now. He's showing that what he can do. But you also got to remember this. This executive orders that he writes is on a federal level. Technically, like I think we had this conversation in maybe episode 7 or 8. And Maynard, you're very familiar with this. There's a thing called federal law, and there's a thing that's called state law. And sometimes those laws don't match. You know what I mean? Which is why it is technically illegal, if I'm not mistaken, to partake into marijuana on a federal level. But in certain states, if you want to get high, you roll up and you just keep it moving. So we're going to be okay. It's fine. A few people got to go through some bumps and some bruises. Just luckily they wasn't from Haiti or anything, because we wouldn't have known anything about this and it wouldn't have been on the news.
I'm going to say it like this. In the wise words of Lamonte G. Hayes, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's not going to make it. Everybody is not going to make it.
Yo, Spud, can I just add one last thing? I feel like Lamont sold out a little bit on us. I feel like he sold out just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Little bit.
Little bit.
Speaking of selling out, I'm tired. Tried the music industry. And the music industry will take your soul and then make you want to leave. Niggas don't respect humble niggas. Don't respect intelligent. They'll ask for this and that and don't deliver, and they'll say it happened. Let me air out some people. It'll make headlines. Let me uplift some people, and it'll bury you faster than you can say Lena Molly Oxen or whatever the word is. They'll kill you, and then they'll worship you when you gone. This is what Wale had to say over the weekend when he went off on the music business. Lamont Hayes, what is going on with your man Wale? Why is he going off on the music business? On the music business, as I would say it.
Oh, man, you just really, what do you call it? You just snuck me, man. You just snuffed me. I didn't know that this was coming. I'm fumbling and humbling. I'm not saying he's wrong, but I kind of feel like, Wale is in a space. Wale hangs out with, come on, y'all, help me. What's the guy from Friends, the comedian?
Jerry Seinfeld?
Jerry Seinfeld. You got to remember, Wale hangs out with Seinfeld. They're having cigars and drinking coffee. So he's up there hanging out with the big boys. So maybe he's just kind of outgrown the record business. But all I'll say is that, I remember Nike boots. I remember, doing it all in the park, way before there was a Rick Ross and the MMG. And we all grow and we get older, and he just probably looks at things a little bit differently because, again, a couple years ago, you wouldn't have heard him talk like that, And, again, maybe he's right. Every grown man is, entitled to their opinion, but go get a hit record, bro, and then come back and holler at us.
Matrimony was a smash.
Oh,
PYT was a big record.
Yeah, no. What did you just say? It was. Go get another hit record right now, bro, and then we can talk. Because I think
there's a lot of fakeness that goes on.
Spud. Let me say something. Maybe Wale is wrong, or maybe he's right, or somewhere in between. But this is the second time I feel tonight that Lamont might be just a little bit on the sellout tip right now. My dude, Wale, your opinion don't count unless you give me a hit record. Until then, I ain't really hearing you. Listen, so if a black man wants to stand up and say, yo, I see some things going on in the industry I ain't cool with right now, then your response is, dude, you ain't got no hit record, so shut up.
He wouldn't have said at the Fife. He wouldn't have said at the Fife.
That's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Fife is kind of like on some hip. That's some royalty right there. You know what I'm saying? Wale still gotta.
You wouldn't say that. You won't say that to 50.
No. Let me tell you something. What was the numbers? First album, 10 million, right? Out the gate. We talk. Yeah, we kind of talking about Wale here. And again, you can't dismiss Wale. You know what I'm saying? Because, he had a couple big singles. But dude is a little sensitive. He has a history, and I'll say it not history, but a history of being sensitive. We remember,
watch out
Complex.
For them DC fans. Watch out for them DC fans.
Nah, they're my peoples. We can Southeast it. We can do all that. We can go to Landover. We can do all that. But at the end of the day, this guy has a history of just kind of being really sensitive, bro. So my thing is like, yo, man, go give me a hit record, man. Then we can talk about your sensitivity. Other than that, bro, just kind of, do do what you've been doing. You know, you own a sneaker shop or whatever you got going on. You know, it's cool that you do it like that, but whatever.
That Landover, that's some secret society shit.
That's no. That's just, no. That's just a little area.
You gotta come on the East Coast. You gotta get some.
I've been to DC a couple of times, but I guess I've never been invited to the Landover, world.
Landover, that's Landover, Maryland. That's.
Oh, I know. Okay, I got it. I'm smart. I'm there.
Oh my God! I feel like Wale got his point, and I feel like a lot of artists feel that way. And you can, take away from it what you choose on the Wale tip, but at the same time, I almost got to go with Lamont a little bit while I was criticizing him. When he was cashing checks, he ain't have a whole lot to say. And, when his money game got a little bit sideways and he didn't want to do what the record label maybe wanting him to do, or the record label wants him to do something that, ain't going to help his money game the way he thinks, and he got some other opinions. So, you in this game, you can't get in this game and decide, late in the ninth inning, like, yo, y'all calling 3 strikes and you out. I need 6 strikes or whatever. This is how the game is played. It's been this way. It's going to be that way. I think we learned that from the New Edition movie. Or did I just peek something that we're going to talk about later? My bad.
No. But wait. But even before we wrap this up, I'm still trying to figure out how come when I say it, I'm selling out. I got brown shoe polish on my face. But when you say it, it's just kind of all like rosy. I'm just a little confused. How does that work?
I sound better than you.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Okay, I'll take that, Playboy. I'll take it. Yep. All right, you're right. I forgot.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot.
So did y'all delete Uber? You deleting Uber?
Hell no. I'm about to call them right now and have them come get me to the damn airport.
Well, see, here's my thing about Uber, man, and I kind of feel like we almost might have to get out of this. Is gonna get us probably banned. It ain't gonna get us banned, but I think we got to stay out of white folks' business, because that kind of ain't our business. That's between them white folks. That ain't really got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? And we say that lovingly, but check this out.
That's going to
be we need to get out of white folks' business, man. That I'm more concerned about, our guests that we're gonna have on the podcast tonight. I'm more concerned about, them young brothers getting shot in Chicago and Detroit and DC and in Atlanta. You know what I mean? I'm more, the Uber getting their money. You know what I'm saying? So if I got to take a trip to the airport, and I probably need to put this up on the website. I used Lyft today, but the only reason I used Lyft was because Uber was more expensive. So, I mean,
Spud, can you tell everybody, because I've read and I got some opinions, but I've read and I can't find what Uber did that was necessarily so wrong.
So basically what happened was, President Trump, of course, he signed the executive order in response to the New York, City taxi. So the workers and the New York City Taxi Workers Alliance basically kind of stopped for an hour at JFK Airport in solidarity for the protesters. Well, Uber felt like they could take advantage of that situation, and they tweeted out that they're turning off their surge pricing at JFK. Basically, if you gonna get no ride with the cab, shoot, we got the opportunity. And then from that, when they did that, when they sent the tweet out, then celebrities basically were like, that's some BS. I don't know why you guys are doing that. Taraji P. Henson, went off, and Janelle Monáe went off, and then a bunch of other celebrities kind of went ham on Uber, basically saying, Russell Simmons, saying that they was going to delete Uber because they wasn't involved with the protest, so they wasn't down for the protest. They weren't going to, recognize the protesters. They was
I'm
trying
glad
to get
you
rich off
mentioned
of
that.
them.
I'm glad you said it that way, because I got a question. Because, Donald Trump became president, and he went on a particular news channel a lot in this time frame. In fact, he hired somebody from that news channel to be on his campaign and also in his administration. And that news channel was Fox. Is that right? Fox News Channel.
Yep.
And Fox has said and done things that they have reported and used their words often in ways that will make black people look bad or say negative things about President Obama. They were all in when Donald Trump was saying negative things about Obama, or Glenn Beck was on Fox News, and Fox was all in. They were a willing participant, and that's the same company whose parent company owns Fox, that Empire airs on. And Empire, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people love it, but it's about the greatest level of coonery and buffoonery you can find. And the star of that is Taraji P. Henson. She ain't banning Fox or Fox News. She getting them checks. Now all of a sudden, because Uber is saying to their members who work, yo, look, we ain't going to tell y'all that y'all can't go over here and get your money. If y'all want to go to the airport and pick people up, then go to the airport and pick people up. But now she out here talking about F Uber. This is some bull. We don't F with Uber no more. But you down with Fox?
But Maynard, you're a hypocrite. You know why?
Goddamn.
You know why you're a hypocrite, Maynard?
Because I ain't no hypocrite.
When I just got through saying that we need to stay out of white folks' business, aren't you saying the same doggone thing?
Dude, I'm saying that Taraji P. Henson is saying that she ain't down with Uber over something that is really, at the end of the day, some low-level people are trying to get their money game right. There's a lot of people out here driving Uber, like the black dude in the commercial talking about work time, grind time, chill time, grind time. She telling the black man she ain't trying to get him no more grind time money. And I ain't for that. Hold on for a second, Dad. Hold on, Dad. Cookie, you need to chill. You need to go ahead and just be Cookie and be Lucius Lyons' side piece, front piece, secondary.
But Maynard, Maynard, you're not listening.
Stop messing with Derek Luke or
whoever. Right, but listen to what you're saying. You're saying stay out of them white folks' business, Taraji. Is that not what you're saying?
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying she picked the side, but she ain't picking the side against Fox. That she getting them checks from Fox, and everything that Fox does at the Fox News side.
He's saying that she's standing up for the wrong thing.
That's what I'm saying. That every time Fox News puts out some craziness that's some Don Trump or some George Bush or some anti-Obama biz, she's like, hey, as long as my check cash, I'm good.
So let me try to rephrase it then. Are you saying that Taraji P. Henson should not be in these white folks' business?
I'm saying if she can be in that business if she's prepared to give up all the endorsement deals that companies who did not participate in the protest, who did not support. If she got an endorsement deal with a company, and if they didn't get down with the protest, then she need to go and give them that money back. If Fox and Lee Daniels and all those people ain't down with the protest, then she need to tell Lee Daniels, until you do such and such, I ain't gonna be in another daggone episode of Empire. But as long as the people that give her money aren't involved with the protest, then she needs to just either say, yo, I'm protesting, but I can't hate on nobody else if they're not going to protest.
No, I didn't even see her protest. Oh, well, she wasn't out there. I didn't see her out there
Instagram.
at the airport.
I mean, it was an Instagram protest. There was a social media protest. You know.
Wait.
She was a Twitter thug. She was a Twitter thug.
Yeah. So how do you protest on Instagram? How does that work?
Because she spread it. She was one of, like Spud said, she was one of the people that helped to spread the hashtag delete Uber, the delete Uber hashtag. And man, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not deleting nothing.
That's what I've been trying to say all this time.
Listen, from my house all the way, if I got to go from here to JFK, and the Uber price, because they got a special, they going to give me there for $60 and Lyft on $120. Who you think I'm going with? I'm going to hop my ass in that Uber, and I'm on my way to JFK. And whoever got a problem with it, come to my house and pick me up, and you take me to JFK for free. How about that? You want me to delete Uber? Hell no.
So right now you talking to Cookie and Russell then, right?
They can all come get it. Russell got it. Listen, we just saw the story. Russell just sold Rush Card to Green Dot for like $140 million.
That. Oh yeah,
that just happened. Yeah. So Russell got enough bread that he can come see me, come pick me up in Bergen County. You know where I'm at, Playboy, and take me to JFK and do it for free.
Of course he knows where you are.
Yo, Spud, That's the end of Lamont's money game right there. He just called. That's it. Yo, Spud, we gonna have to go and get a GoFundMe to keep Lamont in $95 lobsters and $60 cigars.
Yes. So Spud, the headline is for $147 million. He just sold the Rush card over the Green Dot for $147. He probably paid 10, 15, or 20, and he flipped it to 147. So I bet you Russ
lose a lot of money when they was big. He did lose it. He probably had to sell it because he did lose a lot of money in the last 24 months over that. Whatever it was when people wasn't getting their money.
So forget them. I ain't deleting shit. I ain't deleting nothing. How about that? Matter of fact, I'm gonna put another app on my phone. Uber 2. So if my first app ain't working, I got the backup on there that'll work as well.
We know you
hear that,
Uber
Cookie?
X.
You hear that, Cookie Lions? Lamont said he not only going not delete Uber, he doubling down. Now cook that.
All right, man, let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to talk to legendary activist Miss Ramona Africa from On the Move. Stay right there. You're listening to Three Black Guys with a Mic. Exciting news, people! They are back! A new chapter has begun at Exquisite Reserve. All Exquisite Reserve cigars are handmade with the finest tobacco from Dominican Republic. Their brand consists of mild, medium, and full-body cigars in Connecticut, Sumatra, sun-grown, Criollo, Maduro, and aged Dominican. Now, if you know us, we are cigar connoisseurs. We love nice, fresh cigars. No matter where they come from, we love them all. And we personally had the pleasure of enjoying Exquisite Reserve line, Signature One, Royal Elegance, La Victoria, Triumph, Genesis, and the 1991. These are all great cigars for your humidor in all styles and sizes. Robusto, Corona, Churchill, Torpedo, and Gordo. Now, not every cigar is created equal. The goal of Exquisite Reserve is to fashion a vintage experience blended with excellence and consistency for cigar enthusiasts around the world. One light at a time. You better get yourself a box right now. All you got to do is log on to exquisitereserve.com and place an order or follow them on Facebook and Instagram under Exquisite Reserve and on Twitter at Exquisite Reserve without the E. Trust me. If you are a cigar smoker and you love a nice cigar, Exquisite Reserve is a cigar for you. Exquisite Reserve is more than cigars. It's a lifestyle, my man. You know, I've never been to Wendy's and my food is still cold. My fries are cold. I've never been to Wendy's and the mustard is hanging off of the burger and, the ketchup is all on the top of the bun. And, I've never been to Wendy's and had that problem. So that's the reason why we're down with Wendy's, because you need fresh food in your life. You need to stop going to those places that just throw your burger on your bun and don't give you any special attention. Making sure that the presentation of your burger looks good. So you need to head over to Wendy's and grab yourself a 4 for $4. Meal includes choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or a crispy chicken BLT, plus 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and a drink. So you ain't got to worry about going to Wendy's and getting a frozen food because it's always fresh, never frozen at a participating Wendy's for a limited time. Offer not valid in Alaska and Hawaii. Now back to the show, homie.
So the format of the show is we're gonna let Spud open up the show as he always does. He does a little welcome to Three Black Guys in the Mic, and then we'll kind of decide how we're going to move on from there, and we'll start with the questions and give you an opportunity.
You don't have to do all that. She's already on. We ready to go. I'm telling you, I'm ready to go. We ain't got to do none of all that interesting, drama. I just want to start. Let me start. Do we call you Ramona or do we call you Miss Africa? I want to give you the respect.
You can call me Ramona, please. No formalities. Ramona's fine.
Ramona, if you can, for people who don't know what Move is, and On the Move, which is the website, can you give us a little bit of the background of, Move and kind of the things that happened with, On the Move 9 and kind of just give us a little bit of the history of how you got involved with the Move movement as well?
Okay. The Move organization was founded by John Africa back in the early 70s. John Africa brought people together from various backgrounds, various religions, various economic, social backgrounds, and cemented the bond of this family with total revolution, the principle of revolution, of family. John Africa have taught Move first and foremost the principle of life, that there is nothing more important than life, not in an abstract sense, but in a very real sense, as real as the air you're breathing this instant.
So let me ask you a question, Miss Ramona. So so it's the history is 72. Was kind of the founding, and probably that's kind of an establishment day. But I'm certain that John Africa was already organizing and moving in this direction. And then there was a huge moment, right? Because you go from basically a Greenpeace-like organization. Hey, we're protesting against protesting for animal rights and taking care of the environment, to this situation in the late 70s where the Move 9 wind up standing trial for murder. Can you share a little bit about how we led up to that bubbling point?
Yeah. As I said, these were peaceful demonstrations that Move had. And when the government heard the wisdom, the revolutionary teaching of John Africa, they knew they had a problem. So from that point, when Move would go to set up a peaceful demonstration, the cops would come, tell Move people we could not demonstrate. We had to pack up and leave. And Move would basically confront them about it. Like, what are you talking about? Isn't this America where you say there's freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of protest, all these freedoms? What does the Constitution say except Move? And of course they could not explain that. And so that's when the beating started, the beating and brutality, where cops would beat our brothers bloody, beat our sisters, beat pregnant Move women into miscarriage, beat, stomp, kick them into miscarriage. And Move took a stand in May of 77 and made it clear that we are a peaceful people.
Miss Ramona, let me ask you a question. This is Lamont, and hopefully, you're okay with me calling you Miss Ramona, since we can't call you Miss Africa. Is that okay?
Oh, God. You can call me Ramona.
So here's my question, because still, the further on with the conversation about the Move 9, one of my first exposures to that was through several hip-hop artists. I know Dead Prez would speak on the Move 9 quite often. I think Talib Kweli, I've heard in several of his records over the past years. Common. And actually, it was one of Dave Chappelle's...
Immortal Technique.
Absolutely, Immortal Technique. So my question to you is do you think that we have and some of these rappers that we named are probably a little bit older, do you think that a lot of the hip hop artists may have some sort of responsibility to kind of keep the Move 9 in a conversation? Have any new artists kind of reached out to you? Because, in my opinion, hip hop is something that's definitely, it's a powerful vehicle that, sometimes uses to shine the light. So kind of talk to us a little bit about that. Is that non-existent now? Or what is it that you see in that space in terms of the younger generation, hip hop, being able to, keep this, information, kind of in the forefront?
Absolutely. It still happens. There's a hip hop artist that works with, various other people. Sometimes, he's in a group, and sometimes he raps on his own. Out of Florida, did an excellent rap on Move and John Africa. In fact, it's on our website. It's on our website. Another hip-hop artist did a rap on Move. Where is he from? can't really remember exactly where he's from. But, yes, it still happens. People still contact us, sending us the raps that they have done about MOVE. In fact, right now, there is a brother who is from Philadelphia, but lives out in California now, in Hollywood, basically, in that circle. And he sent us a script that he wrote about MOVE. He's trying to get a movie made. So MOVE is never, ever forgotten.
Miss Ramona, let me ask you a couple of general questions, just to kind of get a understanding of moving forward in regards to, some of the philosophies and the principles that you as well as MOVE have. You said you haven't voted in over 35 years, and I think, that's a principle for MOVE as well, not to be a part of the system. And for those who, especially black folk, has been taught to vote because their ancestors and their parents and their forefathers have been taught to vote, for so long, it's a hard cycle, to break and to be a part of the political process. So do you think that, the political process is something that, we should reconsider moving forward?
Well, I can only tell you what I know, and I believe people have to make their own decisions. This last election should be more than anybody needs to be clear that
right.
The political system is nothing but a con game.
Right.
It doesn't work for us. It's not meant to be in the interest of the people. They call this a democracy here, which is a laugh. They had this last presidential election, and the quote-unquote electoral college elected Donald Trump. They don't make any bones about the fact that Hillary Clinton, who I'm not a fan of any politician, she got 2.5 million more votes than Donald Trump. How come he's president and she's not? What they're telling people is that your vote don't count. It's the Electoral College, whoever this mysterious group of people are, that put the president in office. So
and
how do
that,
you move forward with that? How do you move forward with that?
Well, that's my next question to you, is because of that result, there's been so many people that have been protesting the day after the inauguration. There's millions of women, as well as, people are protesting. Now after the, Muslim ban, there's millions of people that are protesting. From a MOVE perspective, because you call yourself a revolutionary, and it sounds like MOVE is a revolutionary, organization. What is the best way to get the message across? Because do these particular type of protests and demonstrations actually work, or is there a better way? Because in my brain, when I think of revolutionary, I think of Black Panther Party, for guns with guns, but I also think about organizing African Americans as well, and I think that that's one of the things that we need more than ever, at this particular time. What is the best way to go about protesting and demonstrating against this administration, as well as the things that we don't agree with in government?
Well, I can say a couple of things. The most important thing, John Africa had taught MOVE, and I've been in MOVE for a lot of years now. I have sisters and brothers that have been in MOVE years before me. And the most important revolutionary work that we are pushed to do is to release ourselves from this rotten system. Stop believing in it. and understand that we have to do our work to protect ourselves, our families. We have to do what's right. And nobody can do that work for us. I mean, look at Obama, okay? People, black people especially, had such high hopes. First black president, like he was the savior. And the example that sticks out in my mind is that he has a friend, a personal friend named Skip Gates. And Skip Gates is a Harvard law professor. And when he was going into his own house up there in Cambridge, Massachusetts, he got accosted by cops who didn't believe that that was his house, that he was going into his own house. His friend, the president of the United States, who they say is the most powerful person in the world, what did he do for his friend? He invited him, Skip Gates, and the cop that accosted him to the White House for beer. That's the most he could do for his personal friend, being accosted by cops. If that's all he could do for somebody he knows personally, what do people think he can do for us? He don't even know us.
So Ramona, let me ask a couple of quick questions here, and I'm gonna kind of do them in one at a all of them at once. There's got to be some status updates that you have on a few individuals that you may want to share, Brother Mumia. And I don't know if we had a chance to talk about this, but someone has told me in the past that you have been previously that you ran in circles with Assata Shakur. I don't know how accurate that is.
No.
Okay. And
we
tell me,
support her wholeheartedly, but I've never personally met her or worked with her. My sister Pam Africa went to Cuba a few years back and met personally with Fidel Castro and with Assata.
You guys talk about man-made laws or not really laws, and you talk about, the importance of self-defense. And, I'm sure I'm not the only parent out here that has had to have a conversation with their kid about what they do when they come in contact with the police. And so in regards to, self-defense and, how do we do that with the heightened state of police brutality, gang violence, and let me just stick with the narrative of, police brutality and especially now, I mean, with Donald Trump stop and frisk and, executing law and order, how do we, defend ourselves in a way that are not going to get either ourselves or either our kids, our children killed?
Well, we need to be unified, number one. We need to patrol our own neighborhoods, and when these cops go crazy and kill people, we need to understand, if you're going to be victimized by this kind of cops just killing people at random, then what do you have to lose by standing up for yourself? What do you have to lose? Right. You being murdered, at random, darn near every day. And look at, what's his name? Diallo, at Amadou Diallo in New York, standing in front of his own residence and ends up killed by the cops. Right. I mean, the message can't be any clearer. You're not safe, So when something wrong happens, they tell you to call the police, let the system handle it. But when the police is the problem, who are you supposed to call? You have no choice.
Let me end my questions on, I'm familiar with the revolutionary movements of, at the beginning, my first introduction would be the Nation of Islam and then Black Panther Party and H. Rap Brown. And, and it seems as if we don't have more organizations like MOVE and those particular type of organizations to govern ourselves, to protect ourselves, to be a part of our own communities, as well as become entrepreneurs of our own communities. I guess in a two-part question, where did we go or how did we lose that? And is it truly a way that we can really institute that type of organization within the African-American community again?
Absolutely, we can. We just have to want to do it and be committed to doing it. I belong to this group. Well, yeah, I go to meetings there once a month. And I got them to institute a political prisoner committee because I just could not sit back and see people like Dr. Mumia Shakur, Oscar Lopez, who just got clemency, Herman Bell, Jaleel Monteking, all of these former Panthers, sitting in prison like over 30 years now. The Move 9, Mumia, sitting in prison all these years. And people, particularly young people, just don't even know them,
Right.
And so this committee was formed to, at every meeting, give an update on, these brothers and sisters and see what we can do to bring them home. I mean, how could you be more of a rotten merchant than to just turn your back on people who took strong stands, who put their lives, their freedom on the line, not just for them, but for the people, for the principle of freedom, and justice. How can you turn your back on them? So what I'm saying is, one thing that we need to do is be aware of these people and do whatever we can do, as much as we can do.
Yeah, the sad part about it is, the sad part about it is that, in my opinion, the younger generation is just so far removed from that, and they don't care. And then there isn't those type of leaders, or I don't want to say there isn't. There's not enough of those type of leaders anymore that can garner a movement that way. That's on, I guess, that particular type of level. And it's also still the fear factor, and I think that that's one of the problems that African Americans have. You look back at the Move 9, you look back at, what the Nation of Islam has done, what, Martin Luther King has done, and what the Black Panther, these guys were not afraid to go to jail. These guys were not afraid to stand up for what, they believed in when it came to the African American community. And it doesn't seem like we have enough of those leaders anymore that will take that particular type of risk. It's, we're divided within a country that is divided.
Let me say a few things. One is that it has to start in the home. It's not young people's fault that they're like that. It's the parents who don't talk to and teach their children, about the Panthers and the Move 9 and AIM and the Puerto Rican Independistas. It's the adults' fault for not instilling that in our children, number one. Number two, the fear factor that you're talking about, What the hell do we have to be afraid of? We are being killed on the streets at random, and yet people still rob, jewelry stores or homes, do, what do they call that when you go in home invasions and all kind of stuff. They ain't scared of that. And they're being killed anyway. So what do you have to be afraid
so
of?
we got to so we have to channel the energy in a different direction.
Yes, we do. I mean, young people have to understand that they will see somebody on their level, another, young man or young woman, and they will rob them of their gold chain or leather jackets, or gang up against them, But when a cop stops them, they don't have that same, attitude. They don't. When they go into court, they get arrested and go into court. When they say all rise for the judge, they stand up. They say, yes, sir. Where is that strong, belligerent attitude then? And finally, look, nobody is trying to rob young men and women of their fighting spirit, their rebellious spirit. All we're saying is know where to direct it.
Right.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. Let me just clarify one thing. MOVE is not just a black organization, right? Because I saw you guys have
we're not.
Okay, I want to clarify that because I don't want for people to just think that we're just talking about a movement
and
that
I
is
thank
just talking. Because you guys work with white people, Puerto Ricans, all ethnic groups, correct?
Jewish people, yeah, all kinds of people. No, wait, no. Yeah.
So let me just posit something, because we've given everybody this one side that is really, and one of the things is I was learning about MOVE as a kid through the news and through the government's way of talking to me through the news as a resident of the area. And what the picture that's been painted of MOVE was just like, with the bullhorn and the radicalisms and all these scary things. And growing up where I grew up in my little section of the world, and how my father raised me, y'all are crazy. Y'all villains. In some respects, Ramona Africa in some corners of the world is speaking in front of the UN in Geneva, is going to colleges and lecturing, is raising the fist of freedom for millions of people, not only in America, but around the world. And in some corners of the world, Ramona Africa is a villain and a criminal and the scum of the earth, the worst of the worst. What do you say to those people who take the second opinion of you?
I would ask them first and foremost, have they ever seen a MOVE person in person? Have they ever talked to a MOVE person face to face? Have they ever been to a MOVE house? Where are they getting their information about MOVE? From our enemy, this system? What do you expect them to say about us? And there are some people who have a problem with MOVE and, like you said, feel like we're a villain. But when people listen to MOVE and hear our position and what we're saying, they generally come away with a whole different attitude.
So you got some things, yes, ma'am. You got some things that we shared on the phone the other day that are happening. Can you share with us a little bit about where you are taking the organization? And I know there's an event that's coming up in May, and share a little bit about that.
Yeah. First of all, I'm not taking the organization anywhere. We're a family. We make family decisions and organize and move forward as a family. I am not a leader in the. I am the sole adult survivor of the bombing, but we are truly a family. What we're doing in May 5th, 6th, and 7th, we're having a 3-day conference where we are going to tell people who MOVE is, what our belief is, who John Africa is, and then we're going to go into detail on our 45-year history, exactly what was happening and why.
Wow. So, and your website and ways for people to learn more about MOVE, can you share that information?
Yes, it's onamove.com, ONAMOVE.com. Our contact information is on there, and the information for the 3-day conference is on there.
That's excellent. Ramona Africa, scholar, lecturer, freedom fighter, black rights activist, and humanitarian.
No.
Also,
human rights activist, not just black rights activist.
That's
human
right.
rights activist.
Wait a minute, activist for life, because we fight for the rights of animals, the air, the water, the earth, all life. Living things.
I know you're not really, into the political thing real deep, as far as the politics of voting, etc. But I mean, you're still a Philly girl, a Catholic school girl. People don't know this about you. And you're a West Philly girl. I know you still pine for the days of Dr. J and the old Sixers a little bit, right?
I've never been a sports fan or sports enthusiast.
So
I'll tell you one thing though. I have to take my hat off to Charles Barkley. He is the only athlete that I'm aware of that spoke out about Wilson Good after the bombing. Wilson Good was reelected, right?
Yes, I remember. I recall he was reelected. And it was, to some extent, a vindication of Wilson Good, but at the same time, his legacy will always be tied to the 1985 bombing incident that killed
absolutely
killed 11. Is that correct?
Yes.
Killed 11, displaced some 250 to 300 people, and burned down 70 plus homes on Philadelphia's southwest side. America dropped a bomb on American people. Ramona Africa, I want to thank you so much for participating. I mean, it's amazing. Again, a humanitarian, a human rights activist, a villain, a beautiful person. You're everything that America is, and we thank you for participating and sharing with us this evening.
Well, thank you for having me.
Wendy's, oh, how we love some Wendy's. The big news about Wendy's 4 for $4 meal just got even bigger. You know what it is. Wendy's been down with us since our podcast started. So, see how a choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or a crispy chicken BLT just changed the value game all over again. Meal includes a choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or a crispy chicken BLT, 4-piece nugget, small fries, and a drink. So if you need some fresh food, not frozen, if you need fresh food in your life, you need to head over to Wendy's. It's all fresh, never frozen, at a participating Wendy's for a limited time. This offer is not valid in Alaska and Hawaii. There is nothing more sexier than seeing a classy, sexy, pretty, beautiful, long hair flowing woman puffing on a cigar. There ain't nothing more flyer than that. So ladies, if you like cigars or if you just want to up your game, then you need to check out Exquisite Reserve. The new chapter of Exquisite Reserve has begun, and all Exquisite Reserve cigars are handmade with the finest tobaccos from the Dominican Republic. Now, ladies, if you like mild cigars because you don't like all that smell or you don't want to be coughing, they got mild cigars as well. It's all good. But they also got medium and full-body cigars for the more aged and the more mature cigar smoker. They got Connecticut, Sumatra, Sun-Grown, Carrillo, Maduro, and aged Dominican wrappers. Now, we've had the pleasure of enjoying Exquisite Reserve's line Signature One, the Royal Excellent, the La Victoria, the Triumph, the Genesis, and the 1991. These are all great cigars. All great cigars. So, ladies, if you want to step your game up with your man, you need to go to exquisitereserve.com. Get him a nice cigar. Y'all can sit on the back porch, or y'all can go to the beach, or y'all can just chill, or go to a cigar lounge and hang out with an Exquisite Reserve cigar. With all styles and sizes from Robusto, Corona, Churchill, Torpedo, and Gordo. Log on now to exquisitereserve.com and place an order for you and your man. And follow him on Facebook and Instagram under Exquisite Reserve and on Twitter at Exquisite Reserve without the E. So ladies and fellas, if you want a nice cigar, if you want to up your game, ladies, and up your sexiness up, and fellas, if you want to have your girl looking a lot more fly these days, introduce your lady to Exquisite Reserve. It's more than cigars. It's a lifestyle. And now back to the show. Welcome back to Three Black Guys with a Mic, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much to legendary activist Ramona Africa for that fantastic interview. Make sure you go to onamove.com and get more information about the Move 9 and more information about their event that's coming up in May. Let's go to my man Maynard. Maynard, it's your time for 5 minutes of fame, my brother. The floor is yours.
Oh, my God!
I've been waiting all week.
I ain't giving no damn air horns today, so tread lightly.
I can't get no air horn? Like, I can't get an air horn right now? Oh, I didn't even hear it. Okay, well,
Come on, man, you messing up your 5 minutes. Go.
I ain't got a full 5 minutes to discuss with y'all this week. I wanted to, obviously pay respect to the sister Ramona Africa. I want to again thank her for participating. And that was amazing. I think you both agree. What I want to do is talk a little bit about something that I'm a little bit pissed off about. I'm pissed off, man. Tamron Hall, who my father thinks is just my father is 72 years old. And I don't know what his situation is right now. I know he's married to my stepmother, but I'm sure if my father had an opportunity to run up on Tamron Hall, he'd take all the blue pills and yellow Cialis pills he could. Because he's in love with
Hey, let's go. Let's get to it.
So Tamron Hall is being booted off of NBC. Tamron Hall, who is about the finest woman on TV, if you ask me, is being booted off NBC to make way for Megyn Kelly. My goodness, daggone, here we go with the BS. Y'all gonna get rid of a straight warrior, somebody who's been in the trenches for y'all, so y'all can bring in Megyn Kelly, who's fine. I can't front. But I mean, y'all couldn't find nowhere else to get, y'all could have got rid of like that other chick, the Hoda Kobe and the other woman, Kathy Lee Gifford. Y'all could get rid of Matt Lauer, to be quite honest. I mean, Matt Lauer, was he like 94 now? He could go. He's balding. Let's just be real. Tamron Hall is the bomb. Y'all need to keep her. I'm putting it out there. Y'all got rid of Alex Wagner a long time ago, and she was fine too, and funny and exciting and great. So y'all messing up at NBC. And I'm going to get right to the Cactus of the Week right now. Cactus of the Week goes, after listening to Ramona Africa, there's one thing I do recognize is that I am still, of all that other crap, I'm an American. And, I don't agree, but America has its warts, but we got to celebrate America, and we got to also take hats off to the people who do that. And when I hear about Gucci Mane making sure that he gets his seats at a game, and he puts out a hometown hero who served 16 years in the Army, an Army veteran, he's like, hey, these are my seats. It's kind of like when Cedric the Entertainer said, I wish you would be sitting in my seats. Gooch, my dude, you could have taken some other seats, man. Let the veteran do his thing. And for that, my dude, I'm going to say, I know you got the chains around the neck. I know you got the money, and I know you got the whatever, all that. I'm just asking you to take some of these cactus splinters square to the throat, my dude. Square to the throat. You don't have to have them there for long, and we'll find some way to extract them. I don't want you to drink any vodka or any whiskey after, any cognacs or nothing like that, because it's going to irritate that. But you deserve the cactus for that, just a little bit. Just a little bit. And that's all I got
Lamont,
this week.
Let me ask you a question, Lamont. Charlemagne has to walk around with bodyguards. I'm curious to know, are we going to have to hire bodyguards eventually from some of these people that are getting cactuses? Because I do not need to be walking down the streets of New York or Atlanta or whatever, and somebody figure out that, I'm a part of a host, a co-host on this podcast, and they decided they want to run up on me because of my affiliation with Maynard Scales. So I just want to just kind of make sure, do I need to, start to get some security?
No, I think what we got to do, man, I do think we got to put a disclaimer out here, man, that the views and opinions of the 5 Minutes of Fame are for Maynard Scales and Maynard Scales only, and not for the entire group of 3 black guys in the mic. Because
this is the problem I got.
Can I finish?
Y'all need some Uncle Richard Jr. in your life. You need some Uncle Richard. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest now.
Can I finish? Can I finish? So here's my question, where I think you need to rescind your cactus to my man Gucci. Not only because he's a friend, friend to the podcast, to several members on the podcast, but it's like, yo, those seats aren't free. That man was there with his fiance, almost his wife. You know what I'm saying? And you mean to tell me that you're going to drop all of those thousands of, I don't know if it's hundreds, but at least several thousands of dollars to have, season, tickets, and those are your seats. So now you just want to just let anybody, just because, and again, I'm down with the serviceman at all, but he was wrong. The service person was wrong. Them seats ain't belong to him. So for you to give my man that award, that was wrong.
Okay, so he was.
Wait, let me be clear. It's not an award. It's not an award at all. It's not an award. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
The veteran was honored by the Falcons and the NFL that night, right? He was on the field. They were like, "Hey, we want to do a hats off." And you're right. Those seats are not free, but neither is freedom, right? This man, I don't know what his maximum income was as a as a soldier, but he didn't make the kind of money that Gucci makes as an artist. He went and fought in wars in foreign countries. Now, we could say that those wars were for all kinds of stuff. They were wars for oil or capitalism or whatever the case may be. But if he had been called to go into battle to fight an enemy of the country that was trying to threaten our lives, like Osama bin Laden was, and SEAL Team 6 went and did their thing, and we don't know this man's whole thing, he did something. You gotta give him some due. And for one night and for one game, the NFL chose to honor this man. And Gucci can't find some other accommodations between Gucci and the Falcons organization. An accommodation should have been made that Gucci Mane would have been comfortable with.
Now here's why I will give you 50% of your correct. Not even off your basis, but just because I just made sure I was on point with this. The serviceman was with his mother. Now, mama should be able to sit down. But you got 2 legs, 2 arms, and you got a uniform. You can get up, playboy. Mama, you can stay. We gotta while you putting it on Gucci, man, you know what I'm saying? The place where they don't he didn't come from where they manufacture white people. It's like, why are we not talking about how come the organization didn't have their stuff together? And I said that. Sitting in that man's seat.
I said the Falcons organization and Gucci should have been able to, the Falcons organization should be able to give him some accommodations that he should have said, you know what, because this happens all the time. You fly all over the world, Lamont. I know you fly first class everywhere.
Yes, I do. Yeah, and I'm not ashamed of it. Yes, I do.
I know you do. But you also know this. Each and every time they say we would like to start boarding people, they like to mess around and board our first class citizens, our first class customers, just after our service members. Men and women who serve in the Army, in the Marines, the Air Force, and the Coast Guard, and the Navy. We like to make sure that we take care of them. They have a special place, particularly during times of war. They have a special place in our society. Now, and this is the thing, a lot of people forget. Lots of us are serving. Lots of us are serving. Lots of black people are serving. Just, you know what? It's a game. It's a football game. Why make a whole thing over a half hour over a seat? You know what? Be the big dude. You're wealthy. You have money. Say, hey, you know what? I'm glad that the serviceman.
So, man,
once I'm going to go and sit somewhere else so I can honor the serviceman as well.
No. And we're going to go around this bush one more time. So you telling me if me and my wife, we buy 2 first-class tickets and we go to JFK in the Uber, because I'm going in the Uber if it's cheap, okay? Let's get that out the way.
Hold on. You going to buy first-class tickets and then take Uber?
Yeah, I'm going to take an Uber, yeah.
First-class tickets and take an Uber.
Yeah,
that shit don't match.
It matches in my household.
Are you going to protest while you're out there, or you just going to walk right by?
I'm going to walk right by. I'm walking right by. So what you're trying to tell me is that there was a serviceman sitting in my first class seat with his mama, and I done paid all of this money for these first class tickets for me and my wife to go to this wonderful destination. We'll just leave it open. I'm just supposed to let him sit there? And say, I don't worry about it. I'll go sit in the back. I'm good. Y'all just chill in my seat. Is that what you're telling me?
To some extent, yes. And I'm saying that like this. Hey. You know what? On the airplane, listen to what I'm saying.
I'm not even cussing because I was getting ready to cuss, but you out your rabbit ass mind.
On the airplane, it's a different scenario. But
how's it different? It's a seat that he paid for.
Because on the airplane, they didn't have a celebration at halftime to give this man a football on the airplane. They didn't say, oh, we're going to use this man's name over the loudspeaker in front of millions of people who are watching at home as well. They didn't, make sure that this guy got all the special treatment. So on the airplane, it's like, hey, excuse me, you're in my seats. But at the football game where you are honored as a veteran of American services, of armed forces, and the whole crowd knows that this dude was just given a football signed by the Falcons and Arthur Blank or whatever the case may be, it's a bad PR look if you're Gucci Mane. Like, oh, yeah, thanks for serving. Get out my seat.
No, hell no. All right, let's move on. We got 2 more things I want to talk about before we go. There's been studies trying to determine the cause of homosexuality.
Whoa.
Especially regarding black men. Certain religious groups throughout history have traditionally been against homosexuality, i.e., who did we talk about the other day? Who was
Eddie Long
against the? No, not Eddie. No, we don't want to talk about damn Eddie Long. Kim Burrell. And discovered new alleged causes for every day. Well, I got to ask you guys this. Because Bossett reports that Dr. Wesley Muhammad, one of Minister Louis Farrakhan's most trusted associates, just delivered a speech on the effects of government-issued marijuana and its links to homosexuality in black men. He says that the government has infused the newer, higher potency weed with a chemical that only affects black men and claims it blocks off their testosterone. Fellas, I don't even know who to go to first.
Whoa.
Is weed making our brothers homosexual?
Oh.
So,
tread lightly.
There's nothing.
Especially against the minister. Especially against the minister.
Listen.
Tread lightly.
Listen. I'm gonna say it with my chest. I'm Uncle Richard Jr. right now. Hot damn.
Did you just watch that or something?
It doesn't matter, bud. You weren't there when I was in prison. all day by myself.
You must have just watched that for the first time. Anyway,
I'm saying like this, man. This is craziness. I don't know what they're talking about. Please, I mean, I'm gonna need them to just kind of try to talk about Islam and the Quran and maybe eating healthy and the stuff that that they're known to be good at. You can give me the final call. I'll give you $1. I'll take some of them incense and maybe a bean pie occasionally. You know, brother Kiss a little bit gassy. But no, stop what you're talking. I don't want to hear that foolishness. Please. There's no scientific proof of any of this foolishness. Sorry. These are alternative facts. We all have them. Is all you got? That's all you got? Well, you got a bad bowel movement or some shit? What's going on?
Well, listen, man. First, I want to say, you know, I always look at the source. You know what I mean? When you talk about a website like Boss Up, and yes, they do have the, you know, the video footage up of him saying it. I mean, I don't know, man. It could. I don't know if it could be, if it's possible, because people that I know who are either homosexual or heterosexual, at least people that I personally know, they all have told me, and homosexual, let's just stay on that side of it, that is something that they're born with. So if you go with that premise, then that debunks this claim. Some people say that it's a learned behavior. You know, it's a behavior that, you know, it's not natural because, you know, there's no other being that, you know, or mammal that's homosexual, you know, other than human. So, you know, some people have that argument. You know, this don't feel right, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I do know that in that weed, which I'm not a weed smoker, I put a lot of different stuff in there, man. A lot of chemicals and additives and things of that nature, bro. So, you know, I don't know, man. I just know we got to just really be careful on this one because we don't want them kind of problems. And all of the opinions made by Maynard Scales belong to Maynard Scales and Maynard Scales.
Okay, this is my last thing and I'll be done. All right, so first President Obama, now the Boy Scouts of America. Boy Scouts of America says it's now accepting members based on gender indicated on their applications. It's their open door policy for transgender children being in the Boy Scouts. Cool or not cool?
So go ahead, Lamont.
I don't know, man. I feel like Spud is just kind of just, you know, giving us gut punches.
Tonight. He
just, you know, he just giving us gut punches right now.
You know what, Lamont? That's the reason why he had them show notes. He didn't send them.
I did not. I had no show notes.
He catch us off guard.
I did all this. I did this in your long ass interview with Ramona Africa.
So listen, America.
No, I'm just kidding.
America, normally we get the show notes and we know what we're going to be talking about. But Spud been trying to catch us off guard, America. It's not our fault, America. I swear to goodness, America. Please don't take it against us, America. Lamont is, I mean, as much as I talk bad about him, he's actually a halfway decent dude.
So here's my issue. You know, I feel like, you know, with the whole transgender thing, and I want you guys to help me out. If you consider transgender, that means you are maybe born a female, but you identify yourself as male, correct?
Correct. Or vice versa.
Right. So are girls who consider themselves boys, are you saying that they would be allowed in the Boy Scouts?
Yes.
No. Because although they may identify themselves as that, you know, if I can go in and rob a bank, you know, with a gun, and I just identify myself as just borrowing the money, I'm gonna bring some of it back. No, I'm still going to jail, homie. Or your man, what's her name, Kellyanne, and the alternative facts? Nah, because it's called the Boy Scouts. I mean, I think at the end of the day, if we want to change the name to the Boys and Girl Scouts, then let's do that. You know what I mean? And it is going to be the same way with the Girl Scouts. If there's a little boy who wants to dress up in a dress at 8 years old, you know, are the Girl Scouts going to allow him to go ahead and sell those Girl Scout cookies? No, I don't think so.
Here's a bigger question. Would you buy?
No.
That's a bigger question. Would you buy? Ooh.
So listen.
Are you discriminating?
Hold on.
You are discriminating, Lamonte. You will not buy Girl Scouts cookie from a transgender kid coming up saying, "Excuse me, Mr. Hayes, I know that you live in a gated community, but can you please buy some Samoas or some Thin Mints or some peanut butter cookies?"
No, and I wouldn't. I'm going to tell you why. It's not because the young person is transgender, I think, but because we have to figure out if we're going to call something for what it is, let's not do what I call the Donald Trump. Let's not, again, as I just read, and we talked about this earlier, yeah, he signed an executive order, for allegedly Muslim to be banned, but it's not the law. It's not lawful. And Attorney General just 5 minutes ago just said, you can't enforce this. This ain't law. So throw this out. So the same thing, if it's going to be the Boy Scouts, let it be for boys. If it's going to be the Girl Scouts, let it be for girls. If we're just going to have scouts, let's just open the door, slash the boy, slash the girl, and whatever you want to do, you want to wear a dress or put on long pants, I'm cool with either or, because whatever makes you feel good at night, but you can't, it's confusing when you're calling it one thing and it's not. That's my issue.
But you're not buying cookies from them.
No, not at all. No, sir.
The views and opinions of Lamont Hayes are not shared necessarily by those of Three Black Guys in a Mic, particularly those people who are listening in the LGBTQ community.
No.
Listen, he will be in an Uber on his way to JFK from New Jersey. Check the route. Check the route.
No, listen. And we can really go here. Is that even by you having to put that disclaimer, I feel like that the LGBT community is probably one of the most organized, who actually, I call them like, the mafia, because a lot of people are afraid to say certain things because they know of what the backlash will be. I mean, we saw what happened at the inauguration with Jennifer Holliday and some other groups that say, so sometimes the LGBT community, they kind of bully you a little bit, you know what I mean, to make certain people afraid to speak their mind. But again, no, I would not. No, I'm just not.
Little 8, 9-year-old kid shows up, wants to just sell you some cookies, man. That's all. Listen, at the end of the day, you ain't got to know nothing else. Do you like Thin Mints, Lamont? Do you like Thin Mints? Do you like Thin Mints, dude? Everybody likes Thin Mints, Lamont.
Listen,
damn,
I just don't know.
Loves Thin Mints, man. How you gonna not buy the Thin Mints off the kid, man?
Because he's 8 years old, and I don't know if an 8-year-old should have on a dress.
Or she.
No, if she, identify. I just don't. I don't agree with that. Not at that age. I think there's a lot of things that need to develop in a young person's mind before they get to that space.
I'm thoroughly let down at this point. That Lamont's been, he's been hedging just a little bit all night. I'm Spud. What's the next, man? We got some marketing tips.
I'm finished. I'm done. I don't have nothing else. We have definitely had a long show today, ladies and gentlemen. I am done. If you guys have anything, I would be welcome to hear it. But I'm finished.
No, I'm done too. I'm
exhausted.
I'm out of gas.
I'm exhausted.
So listen, man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that puts episode 11 in the can for Three Black Guys in the Mic. We truly appreciate you guys for listening, and we truly appreciate Ramona Africa. And I'm so sorry that we went from Ramona Africa to talking about transgender people. Was so not in the plans at all. However, because I didn't send out the show notes, I was just doing everything on the fly, so we truly apologize to Ramona Africa and anybody who you guys feel like if we were being offensive, because that was definitely not our intention. We'll be back next Tuesday with another episode of Three Black Guys with a Mic. We holla! Woo! This was a deep episode, but we want your feedback, baby. Let us know what you thought about this episode of Three Black Guys with a Mic. Email us at 3blackguyswithamic@gmail.com. That's the number 3 blackguyswithamic@gmail.com. If you're listening to this podcast on iTunes, leave a review. If you're listening to this podcast on Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you're listening to this episode, leave us a review. Let us know what you think about it. We'll be back again next Tuesday with another episode of Three Black Guys with a Mic.